the Rift for our second game today. I do think this draft makes things a little bit more interesting than it might have been otherwise.
Yeah, whenever you see a DCG playing Standard, it kind of gives a shock to the system, you know? Like, when they play Standard, it's actually surprising. I don't think we've had many drafts where they don't have a pick that is completely unique to either Nesty or Chris Kata. You know, they've played Heimerdinger, Zillion. There's so many weird stuff coming from them.
It's very like they do standard stuff just enough for it to not be unheard of, but so rarely that it is still a surprise every time. And I do feel like DCG are that team that can always keep you guessing in pick ban. And they have a lot of flexibility, right? I think this is a team that has probably more versatility than almost any other squad in the league, and just a ton of experience to boot.
100%. 665.
Ooh, burn the ghost. That feels bad, man. I mean, maybe it's not so bad when you're a Hecarim, because, like, I mean, what's he going to do pre-6, right? Run at you?
Yeah, he's not really going to make use of it, but it will make those early jungle evades from DCG just a little bit more threatening. The Renekton and the Lee Sin do have the superior side of the matchup. And we actually have seen some Rises come out ahead, usually in the early levels. And as you can see, Nesty definitely gets the better side of that trade.
There we go. I mean, yeah, there's also a bit of an experience gap there as well. If you compare Nesty to Wen, who's really only played in collegiate and some of the Pro-Am Cups. But as we get underway here, keeping our eyes on where we expect things to turn, I think up top, of course, Leaky should be able to shove Taco in. When you're playing a Gragas, your goal is not to win the lane. Your goal is to be a team fighting threat. He's got that tier early on to start stacking up, and as the jungle's going to mirror up top side, Hana not going to be under any pressure. I do think Deep Cross have a lot of options to make plays early and try to set up. They could potentially look to set this bot lane behind and maybe feed Kriskata a couple of these early kills that have gotten Deep Cross off to a great start in the past.
Yeah, I feel like for their bot lane, their strategy is probably just to push in. We have to cleanse here on Kriskata, and most of their winning lanes are actually onto the top side, so I would expect this to just be sort of a, denial. Oh, whoa! Land that?
I mean, yeah, I feel like you really stretched that dredge line out a little bit, adding a couple of extra links and not, and really good trade coming in for the Deep Cross bot side. Huge CS advantage on this first wave as it crashes.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a push. They could play to, shove back and then hold the wave. But as you can see, early on, Renekton definitely has the right of way against Gragas. So I do expect a lot of pressure to be put towards his top side. Usually the Lee Sin does have a lot of trading power against the Hecarim early on as well. And we do see Nessie with that early level 1 trade being to invade here as well. So a lot of different points of pressure right here. And we do see kind of a two-man invade happening here.
Yeah, they're going to try to keep 665 down. I think this is a smart strategy, as they know that he, despite being a hyped member of the team, can be a bit of a weak point. Delay the level 6. Don't let him get the farm. He's going to have to try and come in for a smite fight. They are going to bring Whale and Epic, and here we go. I think we've got ourselves an early skirmish right now. Whale does land one shot. Dredgeline goes in onto the pony, and the focus is there. First blood given over to Hana, and now they turn for Epic as well. Flash for flash, follow through. Hana should have enough damage, and Kriskata wants the kill, but it's Hana who will claim it. That should open up, well, a whole lot of opportunities here, as the jungle difference is massive.
Yeah, that's just experience difference for me. I think MFT didn't really have a chance at winning that one. No sums from 665. Orianna was coming in late against Ryze, who has Rune Prison. So they were definitely at a massive deficit coming into that one. And I'm a little bit surprised that they did try to go all in for that. If I'm 665, I'm just waiting around for the smite. And he went way too close into that one. As you can see, Ryze was already in position. They get the flash from Epoch. They get the CS denial into the bot lane. This is absolutely disastrous. And, talking about the jungle items, we talked about how Lee Sin doesn't get that Ruby Crystal early on in his build. Well, if he's over-leveled, he doesn't even really need that Ruby Crystal. He just goes for the straight damage items, and he's completely fine.
Yeah, Hana's going to be setting himself up for a pretty good game right now. I'm sure Kriskata would have liked those kills, but it's still a reset. It still counts. Rocking the double longswords right now. Meanwhile, Taco trying to play it out as safely as he can. You can just see the farm differential here. And MFT's jungle situation is definitely not looking so stellar. No difference in levels, but the items are going to make a big one, and it's going to be slowing down any potential counter moves up top that they would have liked to make to maybe give Taco a little bit more breathing space.
Yeah, currently just looking at this game situation, we definitely need the first ultimate from 665 to be massive. They need to get that bot lane. They most likely need to win like a 3v3 and get a shutdown on Hana to get themselves back into the game. Or else I feel like Hana is just going to walk into 665's jungle. Right now, if you look across the board, I feel like Nesty is stronger than Wen, and the bot lane is definitely stronger as well. So the Drake and the bottom side of the map are going to be very difficult for MFT to kind of hold on to. They need to basically wait until this round of summoners comes up before they can make a play.
Yeah, also, MFT's bot lane is kind of being forced to extend a little farther than they would like to due to the freeze that Deep Cross have managed to set up here. It looks like it might reset soon, but just in time for Hana to make a roam down, and that is a clutch control ward. They should be spying it, but again, Woody nails a huge dredge line from halfway across the lane. Still doesn't result in a whole lot of anything because Whale and Epic were playing further back, but holy moly.
Yeah, how does he find those? That's absolutely ridiculous to me. Like, Lee Sin is sitting in plain vision, and he's still able to find a hook like that. It's really perplexing, the ability to do that. Now we might be seeing the Rise 4v2 roam. We have seen this so many times. Standard way you want to play with the roam warp, and here it comes. Even in the 4v3, this might be very successful.
I think they could do it here. Gromp smited down, Whale taking a little bit of face damage, and they don't like what they saw there, so it is going to be a turn, but this should be a pretty free dragon for the likes of Deep Cross as they just continue to bully this bot lane and bully this pony.
Yeah, that's the one weakness about Hecarim is early levels he really isn't as strong at things like the Zinza, the Lee Sin, or the Volibear. Much more of a late game team fighter. Let's see if 665 can't find the smite.
Alright, smite does go down. Meanwhile, they want to turn on this one as Wentz a little bit late to the party, but do they have the damage? And Shockwave does come in to take down Woody. 665 will fall, but meanwhile, a very messy fight scatters everybody as Epoch is trying to stay alive. Cascada flashes, ends up being a 1-for-2 trade, but Nesty will go down. Holy moly, that was a little bit more than I think Deep Cross were bargaining for in the aftermath of the Drake.
Yeah, very well done there. MFT get a really good angle onto the Drake pit. You can see that DCG members were scrambling to get out while fighting against the two flanks there, and it really put Nesty in an awkward position. He wanted to kind of close off the Drake ramp, wasn't able to do so, and Cascada found himself face-to-face against 665. So the positioning advantage there, massive from MFT. Hana, though, will put a bit of damage here.
Oh, he might be able to get the
level
kill.
6.
No level 6, though. No Dragon's Rage, so he just follows. Leaky and Nesty on the chase. Smite for health on the red buff, and man, 665 is having a real hard time in this game, at least when comes to the rescue. And this Orianna definitely starts to threaten a little bit more after those 2 kills. Let's take a look at that fight one more time.
Yeah, I think the critical thing here is just the angle of attack right here. 665 is able to soak a lot of damage and go back and keep himself alive with the W. I think it's Spirit of Dread there. And just look at the positioning from Cascada. He is stuck in a very difficult place with Leona and Hecarim sitting right on top of him. So it was just the angle of attack from MFT that really won them that fight. And unfortunately for DCG, they weren't able to focus. Well, they get a focus now.
Ooh, boy. Yep, Hana's going to get him. Really has just been hard bullying 665 in this game. He's not been the only one, but keeping the Hecarim off of level 6 has been a very successful play so far, and Hana will be able to add insult to injury by taking away the red buff from the MFT side of the map. Gold advantage, about 1,000, should extend a little bit more as this Herald goes down. Ooh.
They might be bringing
Rise here as well. And Woody... Interesting move as they try not to get cut off by Epoch going back, but it did give a couple of plates over to the MFT side, so all is not lost.
Yeah, I think they were thinking about roaming towards Herald and then realized they didn't need to. So it definitely was a bit of a waste there. Their bot lane is currently stronger than the opposition, so I was a little bit surprised about that one. My only explanation is that they were roaming towards Herald, and then they just found the pick and realized, oh, wait, we actually don't need to go up there anymore. So they just heads right back. Does give MFT a bit of a reprisal here. So if they're able to catch Cascada, if he walks a little bit too far forward, you know, they could swing the matchup back into their favor.
Very possible. Whale and Epic hiding out in the brush here, and ooh, they actually managed to dodge. I think they might think this is a back right now. They're going to look to set up a 2v2 or potentially more as there's a bit of a roam, but I mean, nothing doing here because Cascada and Woody aren't going to push their luck on that.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that Woody is level 6, while Epoch still doesn't have the ultimate, so they were hoping that there would be some separation between Criscata and his support. Criscata very intelligently keeps his support there, tells him not to back, you can buy these wards later, and dodges out on it.
Another one of those things that, like, you could very easily think, all right, maybe a rookie is going to, like, forget that and give an opportunity. And Criscata has just been so good, not only in, like, a mechanical sense, but also in a game sense. And I think that's why he's slotted so well into this team of experienced players.
Mm-hmm. For sure. He's definitely, I think, the top two rookies to watch for me, ICU and Criscata. I've spoke about this quite a bit.
ICU is also a great player. The difference is his team is not quite so much.
Yeah, they face very different situations, but I think the baseline bar is you have to be a good laner to really turn heads, and Criscata got that covered, good in team fights. Meanwhile, Leaky also has the Hullbreaker done here, and because of this Renekton matchup, it's been so difficult for 665 to just hold on to his top lane. You see this Gragas just being constantly pushed in, they can walk into his jungle, take away his camps, do whatever they want, and I feel like we're coming into a tipping point, 2,000 gold right now. If they win the next team fight, and you also have to think about the Herald drop, it could easily balloon to about a 4,000 gold peak.
Yeah, 665 does finally have Onslaught of Shadows, and that's something the Deep Cross have to respect in a bit of a skirmish situation. But there's a push happening in 3 lanes right now, so Deep Cross have the opportunity to push very far forward, as you see Woody and Hana doing, looking for the dive onto Whale. He's by himself, and he knows this is coming. Trying to buy some time for Epoch to come back here. I don't know if he knows Hana's in the area, though, and Nesty is about to come in and bring up the charge as well. Herald popped behind. Here's the trap, the Realm Warp. And this could be bloody as Criscata leads the charge of minions in. You might be able to dodge some, but you certainly can't get them all. Here comes the pony for the turn, and 665 takes out Woody. I don't think Deep Cross were expecting that one, but they still have the damage to turn. Epoch goes into stasis. Wen comes to save the day. And that actually could have gone a heck of a lot worse for MFT as they trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, really good roaming from the jungle and the mid laner coming in from MFT. They do save at least their support there. Meanwhile, on the top side, they do lose a full turret, and Taco is running out of mana, so you can't go away from here.
Yep, no, nowhere to go. Oh, what? Okay. Flash for flash, I guess. And Hana takes a dragon off the back of it. So it's still a massive advantage here in favor of Deep Cross, but I do really like how MFT were able to neutralize that dive for the most part. They lost Whale, but they did get something back for it, and they prevented the Herald from getting a whole lot of use. But meanwhile, oh no! Hana and Woody, the Bash Bros, taking down 665, and he just didn't have Turbo Chem Tank completed.
Yeah, the problem we see now is MFT have lost control of their own jungle, and Hana is laughing like a maniac. So DCG, what they can do is they can pressure you to come back and save your mid lane, and then they can shift to your bot lane without being punished whatsoever. We've seen this move again and again from DCG. And that's the strong part about being able to play offense, is that MFT have to cover 2 sides. They burned their teleport earlier just to save their mid, and that's a go signal on the bot side. DCG can just kind of run that play over and over again. I think what MFT need to do is they need to stop the bleeding and do a very risky play. They need an offensive onslaught of shadows in the lane to actually just win back some of these heads, get some of that bounty, especially onto Hana, and that will allow them to survive for a while longer.
Yeah, you gotta be careful though. And there is the kick, the insect back into the Rune Prison they go, and oh no, flashed away the shockwave. Man, Hana and Nesty just styled on Wen.
You can't disrespect a man like that. He's still in school. He's not a dropout. What are you doing?
They're gonna send him back to high school with a play like that, man. Holy crap.
Oh, that was so nasty from Hana. Just rubbing it into the wound there, making sure he knows who's boss. Oh, I gotta say, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was utterly disgusting, underhanded, and incredible to watch. And I think correctly too, Deep Cross have recognized one of the biggest threats on the team, because Wen's already had at least one solid shockwave. Now Criscata is actually caught here, and oh no, he's run out of ultimates. That is going to be, is he going to get away from this? Epic didn't have the chase. No! Burns down from the ignite, just enough. Oh, he pushed a little too far forward, but let's take a look at this play again. I feel like it's disrespectful to watch, but I'm going to anyways.
Yeah, Wen did walk up a little bit too far. He was on top of the minion, so gave Hana a great angle right here. But this is where the juicy stuff actually happens. Hana dodges out. I'll be honest, I don't think he really needed to flash that. Most likely, Nesty could have still finished off the kill, but it was cool to watch.
Well, and he got Wen's flash out of it too. I mean, like not only that, but just like just getting out of the shockwave entirely, and then hitting him with the dab after the fact. I mean, it was the entire play, including the emotes, as Wen walks in and takes away his own blue, trying to prevent Hana from the steal. The fact that mid lane tower is still standing is a testament to the fact that Wen hasn't been playing too far behind in this one. Has been looking relatively good on the Orion. Not much you can do, though, when Hana just executes an absolutely perfect insect.
Yeah, we have seen Wen just non-stop TPing back to his mid lane to make sure that still stays alive. But I think the problem is he didn't really get any plates for it. So overall, like I still feel like even though Nesty might be behind in CS, the effect has been felt far more from the side of the Rise, for sure here. And we do see DCG just getting another uncontested Herald right here. They did have to TP bot lane to pick up the wave, but no biggie as they start to move into a 1-3-1 position, especially with that hull breaker on Renekton.
Yeah, they can kind of leave League on devices for a while. If he needs to get involved, teleport is always available. And without Dragon Rift, there's nothing MFT can really do here. 665 is relegated to just trying to steal some jungle farm, but, you know, throw down a Scryer's Bloom and all of a sudden he's spooked, walking away from everything. And 665 has just had such a tough time in this game, really getting anything done.
Now, we have been really doom and gloom on MFT, but we are going into the mid game, and this is where team coordination can shine. We have to talk about the Wombo combo that they have. You have that Moonlight Vigil and the Hecarim Ball delivery system. So this is like a guided missile. You can set it ramming into Nesty and Kriskata, and if they time everything well enough, they could just blow those two targets off. It doesn't even matter how far ahead they actually are, and they could snowball the game from there. So that's what we wanted to see. In their last games, I feel like last week they tried to do very similar, the same thing, but it was a 0-2 week for them, and we never saw them get the combo together. At least, even if this is a loss, I want to see MFT showcase that they can actually execute this.
There's a possibility here. I mean, yeah, they are down a significant amount of gold, but there is the opportunity to pull off the Wombo combo fight. This is the type of composition that they have found success on, the only type of composition that they've found success on in the past. And oh no, Woody sinks another deep dredge line, and before 665 can run away, he's kicked back into the team. How do they keep finding these picks?
I can't believe Woody is just getting straight up dredge lines in plain vision. He's not even hiding out of sight. He's got two of them in the bot lane. That one was just as free as can be from Woody, and he's either a mind reader or like something's happening on MFT. They just haven't been able to dodge out on these.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. We could make a highlight montage of just Woody this game, and that's saying something. Another dragon goes away. They should be able to take down this mid tower too with Kriskata now at level 11 pushing on it, and you can't really threaten there with how big the Jinx is starting to look, even only on one item. Definitely threatening. Nesty taking away all of the jungle. I mean, 665 he's going to be lucky to get a camp the rest of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with you. He's going to get this one.
He's got chickens, okay.
Yeah, for the most part, Whale and Wen are actually just going to be taking away his camps. It's not much that he can do at this point. At least he is going for the defensive build. We have seen Alio just go for offensive, even when he's behind. So I still feel like they have a chance, but right now the problem is they need to wait for the damage build-up to really happen on Wen and Whale. I think Hecarim is the ball delivery system, but most of the explosiveness and the ammunition still has to come from the Orianna. And right now, she's not able to really deliver that one. I don't think Kriskata is really afraid of taking the shockwave to the face at this point. So we still need to wait until that second item spike would be my opinion on when MFT can try to mount a comeback.
They are going to have to contend with the difference on the items coming through from Deep Cross. Death Stance now picked up for Hana, and he's having a pretty fun Lee Sin game. When you start to get off to a flying start, obviously there is a fall-off point, but it is nowhere near this point in the game, as we are still shy of the 20-minute mark, and Leaky continues the side push. Wen's going to try and stop this one. I don't even know if he's going to get there in time, to be honest.
Should be able to get stopped here.
Peels him off just barely. Still, the Leaky is also a big threat that you have to contend with for a while, and Kriskata, look at how much map control. I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to just walk up to tower with a Jinx on an inner. but he can do it. However, there's a
Here we have the
teleport coming
TP.
through. Maybe there's the punish from Taco. We need a big barrel here, but he's spotted out and tries to dash. Gets that one. Knockback. Criscata flashes over his own traps and into team safety. Meanwhile, Leaky into the backline, and they're going to try to turn this one, but Leaky's so big. Taco catching up to his team into
That's
Root Prison 665, but they do get a shutdown. Taking down one. Can they do two? No, Hana is just lighting them up right now. However, is it going to be enough as Nesty is trying to push it back? That is actually the turn here from Meta Falcon team. He might have gotten a few more kills, but they are able to come up with a 3 for 5.
Wen saves the day right there. Honestly, this start was a little bit tragic for MFT. The engage from Taco, although it does burn the summoners, doesn't get the instant kill onto Criscata. He can fire away, and we saw the drive-by being completely useless from 665. So the start of this didn't look that good, but I think Wen was able to get a multi-man shockwave, deal a lot of the damage right here, and that really set the stage for the comeback. If you just take a still from this point onward, it looks still pretty bad from MFT, but I think DCG actually overchased just a little right here. Criscata is very far behind the play, and we see the wombo combo at least from Wen and Whale dealing a lot of damage to this front line. You saw Hana and Leaky going for Wen. He stays alive throughout, okay, not the entirety of it, but most of it, and is able to dish out the damage on the back end. So very good play by MFD. If nothing else, that was a huge morale booster. We didn't really see the wombo combo, but we saw the fighting spirit.
Yeah, and I think that's critical right now for the MFT side. When you're already down that much gold, being able to go for the second effort and shore up what you've already got. I gotta be honest, it looked like they were gonna lose that fight for a long time.
It did.
Still have to be careful. When definitely staying alive, the repositioning, taking advantage of the overchase, those are all hallmarks of more experienced squads, and you can see that the trust that MFT place in each other for the fight. Here we go. That's going to be the play. Looking for the Hecarim, and they've got some stuns. Do they have the damage? It doesn't look like quite enough here, as it's going to be the scatter from Deep Cross without losing anyone. Meanwhile, Leaky just continues to push. Will Woody get away? He flashes the wall. That's the end of it. But it was free tower there. Leaky stayed on bot.
Yeah, a great try by MFT. We saw some nice mechanics from Epoch. Hang on there, but
Taco, can they turn that Onslaught of Shadows into Criscata? Oh, they should have the damage, but they took a little long to kill him. Taco will finally come up with the credit. Now Woody, he's dredge lining the wrong direction as they're going to try to cut him off. Wen is right there. So this should be 2 kills. I don't know why they were still in position after the fact. We'll have to see in a replay.
Yeah, it did look like DSG were trying to get a just solid kill onto the enemy support, but then they realized, wait a minute, we're actually getting outnumbered here, and Leaky has to walk away from Whale, who's doing a lot of damage with these 2 guns. These are great objective killer guns here, the Severum into the Crescendum combo here, so I feel like MFT with this lead, they should be able to secure the first Drake, and that means they aren't pressured into the Dragon Soul fight. Yeah,
objective bounties coming through now, and Woody's still a couple seconds off cooldown. This has already been started by 665. The rocket's going to be a little too early, as it does ping on to 665. It's only going to give a little assistance as the objective bounty gets claimed, and the gold lead cut back down to 5,000. But Deep Cross are going to try to trade on the opposite side for the Baron. Only 3 members on right now, and I think this is going to prompt a response from Meta Falcon team. Game senses are tingling.
This is a little bit slow coming in from them. There's still 5,000 HP. MFT are in position here. There is no ultimate.
Woody tries to stiff arm. That's going to be 665 taken low, but just barely taken out as Leaky was on it. But will he pay for it with his life? It looks like he's going to. Baron rather does get smited down, and Nesty is going to be out of there. But unfortunately, Woody's not so lucky. Double kill coming in for Whale as they look to try and cut off any further means of escape. So Baron goes down, but 3 members of Deep Cross are going to be the only ones that have it.
Yeah, unfortunately for MFT, I felt like that was a golden opportunity for them to pull a little bit more out of that one. But 665, obviously, without the ultimate, does go down first, and I don't see this attempt really working out here as Hana tries to find the angle.
Okay, gonna try to get kicked back. He does manage to grab Wen, but Wen's still walking away. He's got a little bit more, but Hana is gonna be able to finish the fight. However, oh, MFT, they're running out of steam. Down goes Whale, and Criscata off to a rolling win in this team fight as the teleport comes in to try and cut things off. Man, when the action begins, it just does not stop in this game as the deep TP from Leaky is going to look to cut off Epic, and I don't think he realized what was happening right there. Dashes, slices, dices, looks like they're going to be passing like ships in the night. What was that?
Epoch is a genius. That was such a good fake out. There was even a red trinket used, but Epoch still manages to get out. I have to say, that's actually the best play of the game right here.
Yeah, that, you know, sometimes the highlight reels are just like insane kills. Sometimes they're just baits.
Yeah. That's actually really smart there, because there is a little bit of a delay when you use the Scryer. It doesn't refresh in real time. So Leaky actually, Epoch actually used that to his advantage and then faked out the enemy, right? Going one way and then sneaking past the other one. Really well done, but we have to come back to this fight. I feel like the main problem here is Taco really needed to be the one to go in first. They let 665 face tank, and unfortunately for them, they actually missed out on the Moonlight Vigil from Whale here as well. So I feel like this was a fight where MFT could have gotten a little bit more out of. They still get the 2 kills. That's great. And then the back end was a bit tragic. They really didn't need to push for that, in my opinion. And they gave over both Wen and Whale's lives in the ensuing play.
I love how bloody this game has been. It's 15 kills apiece, and considering it's such a hefty lead for Deep Cross, it's just because teams have been making some questionable calls. I mean, Woody didn't need to give his life there either, right? He goes for the hook when the rest of his team is gone, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's great to see two teams that are wholly unafraid to go at it, to just scrap with one another. And these fights have been a little messy, but they have surely been fun.
Yeah, and I think the key thing here is that MFT has actually been able to claw back a lot of gold because of the Season 12 mechanics. Now, Leaky could find himself in a 1v3.
Oh, 1v4, maybe 1v5 at this point. I mean, this is going to be a heavy investment to try and take down the Split Butcher. Look at what Deep Cross are doing on the opposite side. They're going to trade for a tower. Leaky actually turned this around? Are you kidding me? Oh, no, MFT got tunnel vision on bot lane.
Yeah, I don't think Taco actually wanted to go for that one. They had 3 members, but none of them were damage dealers. So DCG is just, okay, we'll walk into the base. This is perfectly fine. And Leaky has a great connection. Yeah, there's no defensive members. If they needed to do that chase down when, or Whale needed to be there, they couldn't just chase down with the support and jungle right there. So I think Leaky made the absolute correct call. He has the whole breaker running, extra resistances. He said, okay, I'll take this fight 3v1. Like, it's going to take forever for you guys to kill me anyway.
I do not understand. Anyways, back to the rest of things. It's 27.5 minutes. It is still soul point critically, as another dragon will come up, but this is going to be the Cloud Soul for Deep Cross. And considering they've been moving quite a lot around the map, that's actually not a terrible dragon. I think they would maybe prefer a little bit more team fighting power, but all the same, you can take what you can get, as item buys do come through for both the Ryze and the Lee Sin here, as we saw them flash on the screen not too long ago.
If you look
Gargoyle
at
Stoneblade for the Ryze. Oof.
The only damage dealer is Chris Cotta.
And he has no kills, for the record.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation where I feel like MFD, if they get the correct target, and you have to remember there's no flash on Criscato right now, if they kill the Jinx, they actually snowball the fight. Like, even if they give up, I would say even if they give up Paco, they just get Criscato early, they will win the fight. So DCG have to be so incredibly careful here. Criscato has to be as far away as from the front line as possible, or the pony delivery system could just outright win it.
Yeah. Oh no, but the pony gets delivered into the hands of Deep Cross as they do clip half of his health bar, and Leaky opens up. The smite fight not going to happen anytime soon. And Leaky to the backline dishing so much damage now. Oh, the onslaught completely whiffs, and it is absolute chaos, but Deep Cross are running the table. 665 is going to go down, and they try to turn it with a little extra damage. You can see that it is just a bunch of Bash Bros turning left and right as MFT managed to outlive and outlast, but now it's another second wind as Nesty takes down Epic. They look for Taco. Not enough. A turnaround again. Whale and Wen dishing the damage. Criscato, the last man standing. He gets one. He's looking for 2. He does get it, but Wen will be the only one to live.
MFT come back in this one. I can't believe what I've just witnessed right here. DCG coming in. They were a 6,000 gold advantage, but honestly, DCG just don't have enough damage there. They couldn't finish off the backline, and Criscato has to play so far away from the enemy team because at the start of it, he didn't really have his flash there. He got his flash in the middle of that fight. So it was a very awkward start to that one, and DCG are able to capitalize. This is just absolutely amazing that MFT are able to out-team fight in this much of a deficit.
I mean, they're just outliving it because they have more damage dealers, right? You have the Avelios, you have the Orianna, and if you can keep them alive, they're the last one standing. I mean, it felt like it felt like a very strange battle back and forth where the tanks were just absorbing everything until they couldn't anymore, and then all of a sudden it was only damage dealers and the fight was going to accelerate. But you know, Chris Scotta got damn near to getting a 1v3 on his own at the very end, but Wen outlived and outlasted, and I think MFT's chances are going to rest on Wen.
They certainly are. You know, Wen has been doing a stellar job this game, is able to just repel the bruisers, and if they keep the bruisers away from Whale, they actually can just take a front-to-back fight. Like, their champions are more suited in the 5v5 situation for that.
And Whale is really fed, too. That's the other thing. We've been talking so much about Chris Scotta's Jinx. Like, Whale's on 4 items.
Yeah. That's absolutely massive, and you also see, I think this is a great purchase from Epoch. He does have the damage reduction item coming in as well, so Kriskada's not even going to be dealing all that much. They will start this Baron, and it looks like MFT... yeah, they're too slow.
I mean, Taco can teleport in, he's going to opt for it, but meanwhile, here's the fight. If they actually take Hana out of this, this could be a game changer right now, but the teleport is matched on both sides. And the kick is on. They find 665. They just need to deny him, and they will be able to do it. Leaky, he just needs to slice and dice his way to freedom, but he does get stunned for days. And MFT are looking for a nice pair of crocodile boots, but it's not happening today. The last-second Realm Warp, and it is a smash and grab for Deep Cross.
Absolutely beautiful comeback for DCG here. The next target on the map will be that Dragon Soul coming in, and I feel like DCG have to be a lot more careful about this one. They need to use that Baron to kind of link into an uncontested Dragon at this point. If you look at the itemization, if you look at the front to back, MFT are more than happy to just take this fight in a straight-up manner here. It's just so difficult to actually out-damage at this point. They only have the Jinx there. All the rest of the members are just there for support. I feel like, you know, in a 5v5, Hullbreaker doesn't do you any favors, and this build from Hana also is, you know, it's not exactly suited for a 5v5 position, so MFT do have a lot of cards to play into this one. Hana actually got a little bit out-traded by 665 as he does sidestep into a bad angle, but the key thing here is still the escapes. So many great escapes that we have seen in this game. Absolutely beautiful stuff. You know, Epoch got one, now Leaky has another.
And Deep Cross are going to try to make the most of this Baron right now by pushing on 2 lanes rather than 3 lanes at once, excuse me. Taco's not going to be able to hold Leaky back from this, but MFT have to find an answer. They have to find a fight, but they're going to have to fight into an open Baron. And this is tough. They're not giving him an opening for the Wombo combo. They will look for Kriskada, and he can't cleanse out of that one, but there's no follow-up damage. Woody intercepting in Hana as well. And now there's the cross turn back into this mid lane, and massive rocket boost, and Kriskada is just opening up here. Epic might go in, but no follow-up damage, and the dominoes will fall. MFT tried for a desperation fight, but an ace comes in cleanly, and that will be the base as Deep Cross crack the tough nut of Meta Falcon team.
That was absolutely the correct macro play to do. The worst thing you can do in a 1-3-1 is sit back and allow